Well, good morning to you, good morning. What? Oh, I don't know, it's Tuesday, I know that. Mardi, 5th of May 2020. Yesterday I did a lot of wildlife action photography. Hedgehogs, wonderful. Small hedgehogs, they were babies. They were a bit disorientated and they benefited from some dog food, and I left them where they could happily wander off when they wanted to, and they did, and we walked around the garden and they were happily snuffling in the long grass looking for worms and things. So action wildlife photography, great stuff. This morning I thought we could stand here and film beans growing. We could. Not a lot of action in that, is there? Weather today, it's supposed to be cheering up as the day progresses, which will be good because I've just put a wash load in. You know, everyone's talking about lockdown and coronavirus and all that sort of thing. And it's all depressing and miserable, and we're all saying, when can we get back to normal? Well, have we stopped being normal? We're not doing the things we used to do. You know, we're not all rushing off to museums and theatres and drinking houses and all those other things that we did. But life itself goes on. And if I want a clean pair of socks tomorrow, I personally, I don't care whether I wear clean socks tomorrow, but apparently people who do still talk to me would prefer that I wore clean socks. So life has to go on. So yeah, I've just chucked a load of washing in the washing machine, and now I'm sort of thinking, what shall I do? Lots to do, but which bit of it shall we do? We could just watch roses slowly opening. That's part of the delight of having a big garden with things happening. We could check to see if the tomatoes, these tomatoes, I'm sort of curious what these are going to do. A friend has got a son. Actually, she's got an awful lot of children. I lose plot. She introduced me to one of her daughters as number 5. Now, I still don't know the lady's name. She's quite pleasant and delightful to talk to, but yeah, she's number 5. Anyway, this lady's son breeds seed, and I was asked, would I like some tomato plants? Well, of course I would, because I like tomatoes. And I was duly presented with 5 tomato plants, which we've now put in there. And her son, Francois, he speaks a bit of English, and you know, I speak a bit of French, but I'm still not entirely sure that I understand. Apparently 2 of these are red, 2 of them are yellow, and 1 of them is black, apparently. Well, we shall see. We shall see. That will be interesting. Not as interesting as my neighbour's tomatoes. He's already got fruit on his, but he's been working hard. Every night he covers them he's got this frame. Now, the way you make these, there's no great secret. You go to the do-it-yourself shop, you buy a big bundle of thin electrical conduit plastic. Yeah, it's cheap. And what you then do is you stick it in the ground one end, and then you bend it over and stick it in the ground the other end, and then you cover it with a big plastic sheet, and you create a tunnel, with the result that you've got these wonderful temporary greenhouse tunnels which means that he's got tomatoes with fruit on already. They're still green at the moment, but yeah, what a wonderful, very, very simple way of doing it. That is simply electrical conduit, plastic electrical conduit, which you just bend over to make a frame. Very simple, very cheap, and I don't know what sort of plastic they make electrical conduit out of, but it doesn't rot, it doesn't go bad, it lasts apparently forever. This is sort of promising. Fruit on the trees. Last year all the fruit was knocked off this tree by a late frost. But there we are, that's wildlife action photography. There's a lot of wildlife about here, isn't there? But life continues. Look at that, leaves on the vine. I didn't get that as hard pruned as I wanted to. I might get up there and knock some of it out. I've got to get up there and push some mortar into the walls at some stage. Ought to do that before the vine gets too carried away, didn't I really? Very difficult filming things like birds. What has just flown over is, I don't know quite what sort of bird it was. One of the raptor type birds wasn't a kite, but it was one of those birds that likes eating smaller birds and rabbits and things. But with a camera, handheld little camera like this, filming birds is very difficult. What we've got already is the... Oh, we just wave at the lady waving from her window up there. We've got les hirondelles, swallows. They're already back here for the summer.